today with another video. If this is your first time to my channel, I want to thank you for coming and hanging out with me today. Welcome, and if you guys have seen my videos before, thank you so much for joining me again. I am excited for today's video because I am diving into Melt's Rust palette. Melt's Rust stack is my favorite of all of their stacks, so I'm really excited to see the difference between this and the stack. I went ahead and did some comparison swatches for you guys. So I swatched this palette and the stack side by side so you guys can see the difference. And then I also created this, I think, perfect mustard eye. So if you guys want to know how to create the perfect mustard eye, and if you want to see this palette swatched, then just keep watching and I will show you guys everything. Let's take a look at this Rust palette from Melt, and I am going to be doing comparison swatches today. I have the original Rust stack. I want to see how these kind of compare to each other. Also, if you guys didn't see the last Melt video I did this same comparison for the She's in Party stack. So if you guys are curious about that palette and about how it matches up, I will pop that video up top for you guys if you want to check that out after you're done watching this one. This was the first Melt stack that I ever got, was the Rust stack, and I've used it a fair amount, pretty good amount. I really like it. I was really excited to get the Rust palette because of course there are tons of extended shades in the palette. There are 10 shades altogether in this palette. The original stack comes with 5, so we're getting double the shades, which is super exciting. All of the original shades that are in the palette, with the exception of this bottom one right here. This is called Rot 2 or Rot Squared. It has like a little 2 above it, so I'm not really sure how to say that name. The one in the stack is just called Rot. Let's just get into swatching. There are some shades in here that look really intriguing. Then after the swatches, I'll of course dive in and create some sort of eye look. So the first shade in here is called Classic. This is a matte buttery cream shade. And this shade you almost can't even see. It's so close to my skin color. But let's go ahead and compare this to that original Classic shade from the stack. So this is in the palette, this is in the stack. I think that the one in the stack is a bit brighter than the one in the palette. It's a bit more of like a bright cream. The next shade in the palette is called Antique, and this is a matte pale peach. It almost has a little bit of like an orangey salmon in it. And this is the Antique from the stack. And here are both of them next to each other. So I'm noticing right away that the color payoff in the palette is a lot better than in the stack. The palette seems to be a lot bolder. The one in the stack is a little bit more muted. The next shade in this palette is called Erode. This might be my favorite shade in the palette from just looking at it. This is a bright, like macaroni and cheese matte yellow, like a bright mustard, and I love this shade. The next shade that we have here is Rubbish, and this was my favorite shade in the stack. This is just a matte dark mustard shade. It's so perfect for creating that just perfect mustard eye. And this is the original Rubbish out of the stack. And this to me looks pretty spot on from the stack. Again, I really find that the formulas that they're using in the palettes perform a little bit better than in the stacks, but the color looks pretty identical. The next shade that we have is a new one. This is called Tarnish, and this looks like an antique old gold. Okay, the next shade in the palette is its namesake. This is Rust, And it is just a perfectly reddish brown rust shade. Here is the original rust from the stack. And this is another one that looks spot on to me. They're pretty close. I mean, they look identical to me. The next shade is called Redox, and this is a beautiful, sparkly, deep copper shade. It's very warm. The next shade is another new one. This one's called Mar, and this is a matte, deep chocolate brown. The next shade in the palette is another new one. This one's called Ravage. And to me, this looks like a metallic chocolate brown with some taupe in it. It has a little bit of like a grayish or like pewter mixed in with it. The last shade that we have in the palette is called Rot 2, and this looks like an even deeper shade than the original Rot. This is a super dark, dark chocolate. And here is the original Rot. This new Rot shade is significantly darker than the original. Here is the new palette swatched and the comparisons with the Melt stack. I think my idea today is I want to recreate just a perfect mustard halo eye. It's an eye look that I wear quite a lot, so I think that that's what I'm gonna do today. And to get started with that, I am going to start out with this Rubbish shade, and I am going to just sweep that all throughout the crease of my eye. And I'm keeping that Rubbish shade pretty close to my crease. I don't really want to blow it out too much just yet. I just love this shade so much. This is kind of one of those standalone shades that you really could just do like a one and done, which I have done before. You just take the Rubbish shade and just like blend it and blur it out all over the eye, whip on some mascara and some black eyeliner, and you're like good to go. I'm pretty sure it's one of my favorite eyeshadows ever. Okay, next up I am going to go into this Erode shade right here. I'm super excited for this shade. I'm gonna be just patting this down on my lid just to brighten this look up a little bit. And I'm gonna go back in with my fluffy brush and just blend the lines out a little bit on that. Okay, next up I am going to be going in with this Rust shade right here, and I'm going to start creating that halo eye. I'm just going to be placing this in my inner and outer corners and then blending it out. Okay, now I'm going to go back in with that Rubbish shade, and I'm just going to use that to soften the edges. All right, next I'm going to go into this Classic shade, and I'm just going to run that along my brow bone and then blend it down into the shadow. Okay, so I just realized that I do not have any like mustard or orangey shades of eyeliner. So like mental note, the next time that I purchase some makeup, I probably should pick up some. I know that Melt makes a really good one, so I probably should just pick one up. I think for today, I am going to just get creative and use this Melt lipstick in the shade 710. And this is a really, really good mustardy shade. And I'm just gonna be taking a really small, stiff brush, get it loaded up with some product. And I kind of want to just use this as a base underneath my eyes for the eyeshadow to stick to. Okay, so I got that down. I'm going to take this tiny little brush and just kind of blend it out a bit. And then I'm going to go in with that Rubbish shade, and I'm just going to press that into that lipstick shade and blend it out. And I'm going to also go in with my larger fluffy brush and just further diffuse it. Okay, I have to say I really love this 710 color as kind of an eyeshadow base, and I'm thinking that I might give it a try as kind of like a cream eyeshadow sometime. Pretty impressed. Okay, next I'm going to be going into this Erode shade right here, and I'm just going to be placing a little bit of this down on my inner corners. It's just kind of like an inner corner highlight. For eyeliner today, I'm going to be using Marc Jacobs gel eyeliner in the shade Brownie, and this is just a nice chocolate brown, and I'm just going to be doing like a little wing on the outer half of my eye. Okay, and then for mascara today, I'm going to be using my trusted Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. And you guys know me, I'm only just going to pop this on my upper lashes. Okay, so I think that does it for the eyes. For highlight today, I am going to use this Melt highlighter in the shade Stargazer. It's just a really nice champagne shade that I think will pair nicely with the eye color. Okay, for lipstick today, I think I would like to keep with the rust theme, and I am going to be using this Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipstick in the shade Maude. Fun fact really quick before we put this lipstick on. I just recently saw Harold and Maude in December of last year, and if you guys haven't watched my favorites of 2020 video, I actually listed in there that Harold and Maude was one of my favorite films that I saw this last year. I don't know if this lipstick is named after her, but I'm gonna pretend that it is. Okay, so that is that Maude shade. I have to say that Anastasia Beverly Hills has one of my favorite liquid lipstick formulas. They're so comfortable. They dry down really quick, but they feel kind of powdery on the lips, so they're super comfortable. So I think that that does it for today's look. Thoughts on the Rust palette? Let's take one more look inside of this beauty. If you guys have seen my videos before, you guys know that Melt is definitely one of my favorite brands out there, and I love these reimagined stacks that they're doing. I love that they're going into palette form, and as I said in my last video, I really feel like the palettes, like I think that they changed the formula and they actually perform even better than they did before, which is like really crazy because I love the Melt stacks. The only thing that I would change about this palette is I'm kind of missing a lighter shimmery metallic shade in here. I really wish that they would have taken out one of these like chocolate brown shades. Maybe Mar right here didn't need to be in here because you have Rot 2, which is like a dark chocolate brown. This one is kind of in between Rust and Rot. I don't know. Maybe just put one chocolate brown shade in here and given us a really beautiful light shimmer. Something like Skeleton Kiss, if you guys are familiar with the She's in Parties stack. It would have been really nice to have maybe some sort of like peach or like golden creamy light shimmery shade that could have been used as a highlight. That would be my only criticism about this palette. Oh, another fun fact that I wanted to share with you guys, if you didn't know, these new Melt palettes come with little magnetized pans, so you can super easily pop these pans out of here and put any of the other pans from any of the other palettes in. So I was thinking, my plan is when I start traveling again, I'm actually going to take one of these 10-pan palettes and just create like a master palette of all of my favorite shades. You know, that might be a good remedy for me feeling like I'm missing that lighter shimmery shade. I will probably just pop Skeleton Kiss right into a palette next to a few of these shades and some of the other palettes as well. So maybe that would be a fun video. You guys could watch me build like one like master dream Melt palette. Idea. Okay, well, with that being said, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future upcoming videos, you know, like the one that I just talked about. And you can also follow me if you'd like over on Instagram. I'm at Sarah Sgt. Pepper, and I post pretty much every day over there. Also, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those in the comment box down below because I really love talking with you guys. And I think that that's going to do it for me. I hope that all of you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!